Everyone, that was a short break. We're back for a second round match in this year's Virtual 9-Ball World Championship, and it's still a race to 19, of course. It's between Tornado Tam from Scotland and Stubb, who both seem to have the same cue, and that's Stubb on the top side. I can tell the way he waggles about, and Tam a mile short with the lag. So Stubb wins the lag, and off we go. The first match of the night at 8:15. We've got Cobra in his first outing of the tournament, and meanwhile Stubb has got the 8 ball in the break and a shot in the 1 and the 2. Let's have a look at that. Well, that's not very good to go past the 9 where it is there. He's trying for a wee bit of luck here. Not a bad effort, but an awkward cut, and the cue ball's running into the 9. And in goes the 2. Welcome back. If yours truly comes back, I want somebody who's in the admin to deal with it. There should be a couple there, and we don't want any more disruption. Well, you know who. Well, you won't know if you weren't here earlier, but them that were here do know who I'm talking about, and there are moderators there who should be able to deal with it. And, well, Stubb's doing exactly what we know he'll do. He'll go for everything if he's got a sniff of it. And he's battling to get this first rack in the board. Meanwhile, Friday night 9-ball is underway. It was a full house, provided everybody turned up. And there is the mistake. And is he going to get away with it? It's very tight. But no, he isn't. Tam's going to have a shot on the 5 to try and pinch this first rack. Well, he's left it awkward on the 6. I don't know whether he can avoid the 7. Yeah. That was always going to be awkward from that position. And Stubb, no doubt, will tidy up. But that mistake was made, and that's what happens. As soon as Stubb makes that error, you have to capitalise on it. And you have to take them out. And the first chance for Tam has gone. And Stubb is off the mark. Well, this time the chance has gone the other way, because Stubb now has come up dry, and now it's up to Tornado Tam to try and run out. You did hear what I said there, Semi-Pro, didn't you? I'm sure, well, I'm sure we've got to have one moderator on that YouTube. Oh, mind you, you're on Twitch. I don't think we'll get many moderators on YouTube. And I think Tam's blocked himself off here. Yeah. The best he'll be able to do is just miss that 6. And well, he's going to try and find a gap, but that's far too tight to get that way. That's never on. The best he could have done was just miss the 6 and catch a thin edge of that 4. But that angle was never there to get to the 4. And it's going to be like 2-0 on the board. Well, you'd need to do that, you'd need to jump across to YouTube, because you're obviously watching on Twitch. But just in case we get any more, because it's bad for the channel that we have all of that going on as well. So, the mistake was made by Stub, and also the dry break was made by Stub. So 2 chances Tornado Tam's had to win these first 2 racks, but they've both gone south. And once again Stubbs came up dry, and Tam's the country mile away from that one as well, and Stubb again has given the invitation to run out. It may well just be the little cannon or the little combo onto the 6. Thing is though, he's got to keep the 2 in play. I don't know whether he's looking at the 2-9, he might be looking at the 2-9. That seems to be what he's doing. Well, he's drawing fairly deep, but I don't know whether he's trying 2 shots in one, trying to knock the 6 in and knock the 9 in at the same time. Yeah, if it goes to the rail, it's got a chance of going in. It's probably got more chance if it goes to the rail first. See, he's knocked the 6 in as a backup, and now it'll be reverse bank for the 2. The cue ball again will be running loose if he does that, and he could end up running into the 5 and the 8 here. Well, he's managed to check that and avoid it. He's lying pretty good in the 3. Well, this will give no doubt Tam an idea of how you have to take your chances against players like Stubb. You cannot give them a second go at it, especially when you've had first go at it and failed. And that's happened in the first 2 racks. He's had a go at a pot in this rack, and Stubb is going to be very close to 3-0 up here in a few seconds. Like I say, you can't rely on far too much help. You have to make use of what you do get, and it might not be very many chances, but when you do get them, you've got to produce. And he's made the mistake, and that's an open invitation. Now what does he do? Does he cross bank this, or does he go for the cut? It's got to be the cut. That's not going to hold, and again it's a 4th chance for Tam to pinch a rack, and he hasn't got any of them yet. And it's now 3-0, and again these are all sore. They are all going down as opportunities to win the rack, and he's not put one away. And that will give, the thing that will do though is that will give Stubb all the more encouragement to take on stuff he shouldn't be. So the likelihood of Tam getting more chances is fairly likely. One of them's got to go at some point, but it's going to have to happen sooner or later. or else it could get very ugly very quickly, this match. And Stubbs got away with one there. Now, can Tam see enough of that just to catch the two? He certainly can. But he's not getting any joy with the running here. He can brush the one, but I don't think he can brush it enough to pot it. He's looking as if he's digging the jump stick out. And very rarely does Tam use the jump cue. But that's not a bad effort. Now, what do you do with this? Bearing in mind your chances of getting good in the 4 are fairly slim. Yeah, he's going all out for the pot. And has he got lucky? I think he has. Good evening. Well, it's ended up a hit. It's going to have to be another go with a jump stick. Yeah, he was never going to get anywhere good on the 4. It was all just about trying to take care of the 3. Well, that 5 ball might come to the rescue. And it does. And Stubb complaining already, even though he's 3-0 up. Well, there's a long way to go, but Tam needs to get one on the board to get him off and running. Well, the kick bank isn't on in the 5 because it's not lined anywhere near it. So looking to get a good safety, but he hasn't quite got the full cover. And Stubbs not going to get to rail, so this is it with ball in hand. With ball in hand, it's got to be out. Again, Tam going for a big shot when all he should have done is dropped that in and rolled the 5 up the table. And with loads of power and trying to pinch a bit, he's rattled the 4. And he's going to watch another rack disappear. And it's now a bit of a nightmare start for Tam. He said all these chances, they all get marked on the sheet as a chance. And it's a big blank 0 that is coming up so far. So Stubbs' life has been made an awful lot easier by the fact that he's gave these chances and Tam's not taking one of them. So it's now 4-0. Ball in the break. How is he for a shot? He's got nothing easy. The 3 ball is gone. He can try and tuck behind the 4 and 5 though and make it nasty for Tornado Tam. He's certainly got the angle to do that. Looks as if he's going for the pot though. Yeah, he's going. See, that's what happens with Stubb. He's going to go for things if he thinks he's going to get away with it. And had the score been a different scoreboard, Stubb probably wouldn't have went for that. He'd have probably locked Tam up. Now Tam's taking his eye right off the ball. He's gone to pieces here. He's miscuing now. Oh dear. And he's going to be nailed behind the 6 because the 5 and 4 are locked up. Well, I think he is. And Stubb may well go for the 3 fouls here. And the biggest mistake Tam's going to do is trying to hit that 1 and splitting the 4 and 5. If he goes across the table to hit that 1, the odds on him splitting the 4 and 5 are fairly high. And he's nowhere near it. Well, my little pep talk for Tam didn't work. It's been a nightmare start. And Stubbs got the breakout in the 4 and 5. And a nasty cut in the 2. And look where the 4 ball is as well. 4 balls at the top end of the table. I mean, in all honesty, this should be a safety. This should be bank the 2 across the table towards the 5 and try and bring the cue ball back towards the 6. But he's looking to find the gap to get the edge on the 4 for the cut. You know, this is where Stubbs potting keeps him at the table on a lot of occasions, and this is why this tournament's his best chance to actually win it. But that's not always the case when somebody that you're playing is coming back with something pretty much similar and being able to take those 1 chances that you get in a rack. And that hasn't happened so far. So Stubb will just keep going for everything. There's going to be nothing there that's going to put a doubt in his mind. But there's no need to panic. Not yet. Although I have to say that out of the last 3 or 4 matches that I've seen that have gone to 5-0 to one player, the other player that was 5-0 down has never come back and won. They've been barely lucky to get 2 or 3 racks, some of them. So the break was dry for Stubb again, and Tam's got another chance. Now he's got the angle on the 3 to stun it. A wee firm stun, and he'll be behind the 4 past the 6 into the corner. Well, he's trying to draw it back. Now this is awkward as well. He's gone straight because it's all about controlling the pace and the draw. That's a wee bit better. Now can he go all the way and get off the mark? That needs to keep going to get him as straight as it can on this 7. Needs to watch the cue ball here. If he starts to stun that in and he's not picked a line again, and the chance will have gone because Stubb will bank that. It might bank twice. He's looking for the line to knock it straight in, and he's missed it, and it's left a second go for Tam. A thin cut, got to get it, and he's not got the pace in it. He might as well have blasted that and let it run, and it's another chance gone. Well, they probably won't come much better than that, unless there's a 9 ball going to be hanging over a pocket for Tam. So, Stubb 6-0 up, and not had to do much. 6 ball goes in the break, but no shot on the 1. And a scratch. And once again, it's ball in hand for Tornado Tam. Now, what does he do? Does he try and come down here for the 2-9? That might be the best option. And try and get that 2-9 combo. If he doesn't, he could maybe try a billiard if he doesn't get good on it. And I think he's going too close to do that. Yep. He's too close. He needed to be sort of here to try and play a billiard, but he needs to hit this firm to make sure if it doesn't go in, it goes away. It's in his nature to complain. Because the main thing is, in these first 6 racks, Stubb hasn't been running them. That's the one thing he hasn't been doing. He hasn't been finding consistency. All the racks he's won, he's had second goes at most. I think pretty much all of them because of Tam's misses and mistakes. Well, Tornado Tam must have on the wrong glasses or something because he's not even online here. Either that or he's on some sort of liquid refreshment, because that is from somebody there who's not even aiming straight. Well, play my cards right here. This match could be all over by 8:15. The way it's going, which is bad news for Tam. But it's going to be hard push to beat the 45 minutes from Stubbs' first match. Well, it'll always be like that until Tam gets a rack on the board. But he's I mean, from making miscues and finding ways to get himself in trouble. He's not helping himself. He's definitely showing the nerves. It's amazing what happens when 12 people are watching you. Well, Stubb may well put him back in again here. He could try and kick the one, but I don't know whether he's got enough room to comfortably get to it. I don't think there's that much room. I would stick him back in. Trying to drop behind the 2. It's just squirted away, so not a complete snooker, I think, is it? Let's see if we can get behind it. Oh, aye, it is. That will do. Now, how does that look? Well, that's not too bad. And Stubb got too much spin onto it there. So, it's ball in hand for Tornado Tam. Now let's look at what his prospects are here. Well, that 5 ball, that is I think the 5 ball just goes, yeah, looking at it from that angle, the 5 ball goes past the 8. When you look at it there, it's not so convincing. It looks as if it would just go, it's very tight. And, well, it's not tight now, but look at the cue ball. Oh, that's a disaster. Disaster for Scotland, as Arthur Montford used to say. And Tam's watching another one go south here. You know, if this was Cowboy in the 10-footer, Tam would be on familiar territory, but this 9-foot table and a totally different game for what he regularly plays, this has got him stumped big time. So Stubb with a 3 ball in the break, a 4 ball hanging, and a cut in the 1, and he'll be out here. There shouldn't be any problem. This will be a run out. Well, the thing is that when you think about it though, and I know that from playing Cowboy quite a lot myself nowadays, most of the time when you're playing Cowboy, you're generally putting spin on the cue ball one way or another. Not necessarily the case in 9 ball, not all the time, but a lot of the time you're making angles. And of course it's a bigger table. But the principles, as semi-pro said, I mean, it doesn't matter what game you're playing, but the principles are the same. You can use what you use in Cowboy or 3-rail pre-cushion billiards to still manoeuvre the cue ball. You're still manoeuvring the cue ball the same way. But it's the unfamiliarity of the fact that he just never plays 9 ball, period. And so that touch is not there for this table. But it has to be said, he's made a few howlers as well into the bargain. The miscue, The principles are always the same, it's just how good you manoeuvre the cue ball. And Stubb hasn't manoeuvred it that well there. He's having to dig out a very thin cut past the 9 here. Well, that's one thing that you generally don't do an awful lot. Or the thing about, I mean, the one thing you're looking to do in alternate cowboy is certainly to get the cue ball in a certain position for the next shot. That's if you're playing cowboy to that different level, because a lot of players play cowboy and they don't think about what they're doing. It's the same thing. You know, in alternate cowboy, you've got a carom. Is then, when you play the carom, there's not 100% guarantee you're going to leave a pot on. It's the other way around. It's when you play the pot, you then generally have to manoeuvre the cue ball to try and get it in line so that another carom's set up. So that's the one bit of practice you get there. Obviously in this game, in certain situations, not all the time, but you're moving to a certain spot to get that ball because it's the only ball you can go for. You've not got a choice like you have in cowboy. And this is where it requires better movement in the cue ball, and again it always falls back to the better players that manoeuvre that cue ball better. And it's something you'd be more familiar with had you been playing one of these rotation games, whether it be 9 ball or 10 ball. You get into the swing of things, of finding your way around the table. But as Hairpig says there, Stubb has, you know, this is another match now where he's had a good opportunity to get further up the leaderboard. Bear in mind this is Stubb's second match, so he needs at least 2 to catch Larry, and Larry's only had 1 match. Now that you mention it, I haven't seen anything. Aye, they're not popping up in the room. Aye, that's a bug. Aye, because they normally pop up in the room when I'm in a room streaming. Yeah, so there's certainly nothing showing there. But they're showing in the lobby. Oh, I was going to type to him. I shouldn't be doing that in the bloody chat. Somebody send a PM to Steve and tell him. Unless he's already been told and he's in looking to see if it does happen. He needs to be told to get it fixed. Just out of sheer habit there, I was going to type it and then realised it was in the chat. But I'll leave that. Well, either that or he has been told and he is in to find out, or he's just in to nosy and see what's happening in the match. So here's Tam trying an advanced billiard shot and he's going to almost scratch again. Well, you don't want to see how your opponents are doing in the rest of the tournament, no. I like to have it when I'm streaming, so you can keep an eye on results coming through. But anyway, it's another thing that's broken. Well, I suppose the only thing now is for Tam to get rid of the bagel, as I say. That big round 0. And it's another chance gone. Well, the blue message is not coming through now either. I haven't noticed, I've not been paying attention. Well, if this match finishes, it's still, what, 35 minutes away from the Cobra match. Then we'll go in and watch whatever's happening in the Friday night 9-ball. Now is Stump going to draw back and try and stun out into the table? Or try and come down? He's trying to come down. And we'll go for the cut in that. Oh, I mean, if nobody's PM Steve, maybe Steve's secretly watching the stream and he heard that mentioned in the chat, and that's why he's coming in and spying. That might be the case. He's in here long enough waiting to see if anything pops up. Well, that's the worst thing he's done there. Looking for the bank. And the power is what's done that. So here's Stam's gift. Stam. Tornado Stam. This is his gift for the night. It took a long while in coming. And Stam's trying, Stam, said it again, Stam trying to miscue again. But he's got one on the board. But he's come up dry, and Stubbs got a shot. Yeah, it was only the pace of the shot that kept that out. He hit it far too hard. That bank. Well, that three's got 2/3 of a pocket to go into. And he'll be across for the 4 as well. And he's hit it into the 8. And Tam's going to have to play the long combo. Good evening to Shane Chambers. I don't remember that name from anywhere. Well, this is the first of the second round matches. And Tam's hit that offline again. He wants to get his bloody reading specs off and get his proper specs on. Well, he must have had a look at that to see if it's a combo. It's not quite, but he can certainly cut it onto the 8 to make that pot. And he's hung it. And this time, well, I don't think Tam can miss this as hard as he tries. But he's got to just hit it gentle, leave the 4 ball where it is. And now come out into the table past the 7. Right over the right side of the table is where you want to be. Now he's got into that too much, it's gone dead straight, and now he's got a dilemma, because if he just kills it right where the 6 is, it's an almighty cut shot in the 7. Now he's managed to create the angle, and that's a good shot. And now you know the golden rule here: if you're going to go inside left to come down this left side, it's past the middle pocket. Past the middle pocket and you've got a shot, and that isn't bad. And so Tam has got his second one on the board. But no joy in the break. And Stubbs should be out here if he gets the bank. This is odds on it's going to go in. Everything else is on after it. Now that 4 ball passes the 9 into the middle, so nothing to do with the cue ball. And I don't think there's much needed done here with the cue ball either, just through to the rail and back into the table. Well, he's trying to hold it before the rail, and he's actually left himself fairly straight, so he's going to have to punch this. That looks a good pace. How's the angle? Again, same thing, just it's a wee bit straightish, but loads of room just to get it around the corner, and loads of room to get to the 8 as well. Yes, now that you mention that, I'm going to remind anybody who's watching on Twitch, you can always remain watching on Twitch, but please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can watch it live on there as well, but it's generally better on YouTube, on what do you call it, Twitch. But I would appreciate you subscribing on my 9ball.com YouTube channel just to get the numbers up. There's 100 odd or something on Twitch, but I want a lot more on YouTube than I've got on Twitch. And so it's 12-2. And Tam said before, said earlier on this afternoon he would have Stubb muted. Well, that's clearly good out the window. Now, what do you mean, Bankster? Do you mean what's happened in the match? Not a lot for Tornado Tam, if that's what you're asking. Stubbs not been brilliant. Tam's just been totally out of his comfort zone. Oh, the Friday tourney. The Friday tourney is at the time it always is now, which with the clocks going to British summertime, it would have meant the tournament was starting an hour later. As it is, it started an hour earlier as far as you're concerned, because the time was adjusted, I think, last night. And the tournament was fully signed up an hour before it started. So, if you were turning up at this time to get into it, you had no chance of getting into the tournament, I'm afraid. But you will next week if you sign up for it as soon as it's finished tonight. It's not 500, Slim, it's 1,000. I think it might be more than that now. In fact, they may well have changed the rules, but it used to be 1,000 before you could monetize your videos and get a wee bit of payment from advertising on your channel. They've probably changed that now. It's probably up to 5,000. I mean, I've been, my first video I uploaded on YouTube was in May 2007, I think. So I've crawled over those years to get 450 odd. You know, if I was one of these fancy video makers and did all that editing stuff and had fancy graphics, I would probably have a lot more, but I'm not into it that much to go to those lengths. And Stubb kicks the 6, and that's got to hurt, but that's what Stubb can do. He's always been a pretty good kicker at the ball. He's generally good at reading those the diamond system. So, well, Tam's next goal is to get to 5 if he can. The break from Stubb is dry. Tam looking to find a gap for the 1 ball. Good evening to Cobra. What are you doing in here? You should be in warming up. I never noticed that right there. I was too busy reading the chat. But you will notice that the rack is sometimes tilted. Oh, you're in a room practicing. Practicing your typing, more like. Yeah, I don't think Stubbs honestly improved his run-out quota in this match. He might have made 1 or 2, but and he certainly should be in the lead on the top 10 at the end of this match. He might be hooked behind the 9 here though. Is it going to keep running? He's going to have to kick or jump. He usually kicks. Well, that's not bad as a safety. And I think that was a sort of half-hearted attempt at a billiard onto the 9 there for Tam, when he could have played a much better safety shot. Albeit there's nothing easy here for Stubb, but you just don't know what Stubb's going to do. Is he going for the cut and running around the angles, or is he going for the bank? He's going for the cut. And he would have got there. Well, Tam would be better off just rolling this in and leaving the longer cut in the fort. Now he's got nothing to do with the cue ball, other than just make sure he comes down far enough to be comfortable on the 6. And now a little bit of help and spin around those 2 rails. He needs to get squarer on this 7. See, now he can run off the rail and leave the 8 long, or he can go the short side. See, this is sort of in between, it's neither here nor there. He should have let it run till it came to there, to play it in there, into that pocket, not at that angle though. I haven't got my line working. But you know what I mean. But he should be out. And it's rack number 3 in the board. Now he needs a ball and a shot. And I'm running out of water here. Well, the 8 ball thought about it. The cue ball might just nudge it. And in it goes. An awkward cut into the middle, but gentle enough he'll have a shot in the 2. That's a good one. And now this is the one where you have to run it, get a bit of luck. He's got a bit of luck. How's the wee kiss in the 3? Even better. Perfect. Just as planned, that shot. Never in doubt. He's just gone too far, but again, just roll it in. Oh, it's run around the rim. I think Tam was getting a bit excited there. He'd been to the table for more than 30 seconds. It's amazing. That's the thing that always amazes me is people not trying to get to the right spot. And the more you achieve that, the more you string balls together, the more you run out, or the more you score. It's a very easy principle for every game. Well, every rotation type game or snooker or something like that. Not obviously like 3 cushions, but in these games it is how you string them together. And the better you are at doing that, the more you will win. And the more racks you'll get than your opponent. Meanwhile, Stubb has a lead of 14 racks to 3. We are 20 minutes away from Cobra's match. With an opponent who, with the greatest of respect, I've entirely forgotten who he's playing again, even though I've posted in the lobby and I've got it on the name of the stream as well. I have totally forgotten who he's playing. It's Wanwa, that's right, Fan. Now I wonder if he's going to show up. And more importantly, I wonder if he's going to hold himself together, because he, what match was it? Was it Friday night 9-ball the other week there? He fell apart in it. Good evening, Slim. Good evening, Bedhead. I don't know how often, I don't know how soon you have been there. I'm just noticed you. Well, that is not strictly true, semi-pro. True, you know that isn't the case always in snooker, because when the reds are on the table, many times you're playing for an area to give you a choice of reds, but it does get down to the nitty gritty where if the pack's tight, you're playing for a specific ball, which then requires that accuracy and cue ball control. But a lot of the times you are sometimes just playing to get in a certain area to give yourself a choice. But the point with this type of game is, especially if it's 10 ball or 8 ball, 8 ball's probably the worst for it when you think about it, because you've got 15 balls on the table. Okay, you've got a certain set of balls to go for, but they could be obscured by other balls and whatever, and then you're having to get into specific areas, so you don't have big margins for error. In 9 ball, this going to scratch. No, it's not. In 9 ball though, in VP4 I'm talking about, it's obviously not the case as much in real life. It's you'll get much more leeway in 9 ball, because there's obviously less balls on the table, so you don't have to be quite as accurate. Well, Tam's managed to dig himself out the corner with that 6 ball. Or can he put this 7 away? Oh dear Tam, what are you doing? Well, it's not a difficult kick, but is he going to have a shot in the 9 if he gets this 8 in? Yes, he will. Unless you just pick your line the right pace, you'll be able to cheat the pocket, as long as you don't go to the rail too soon like that and hit the knuckle, and it's gone. The chance is gone. And Stubb edges ever closer. No joy. And a shot on to get started for Tam. Well, Stubb genuinely won't be that happy with this match. I mean, he's been moaning anyway, but he'll not be that happy because he's not had that flow and consistency, which is what you need to be getting as you get deeper into the tournament. You know, he's not had that consistency where he has been putting racks away one after the other like he did in his first match. But even then, he still didn't topple Larry off the top of the table. So he won't be pleased when this match is over. Well, the big billiard off the 3 and landing on the 3. Well, it's all about getting good in the 5. If he gets there, this rack will be over. I think he's a bit straight in the 4. Has he left himself enough room? Just left it. Just left enough room and no more. And what's this all about? LS3 just started a 9-ball match with Shooter Pool Pro. What's that message that's come up? I've never seen that one before. Any of you guys seen that one? When did that message ever come up on the screen? I'm talking about that there. Any of you guys ever seen that come up on the screen before? LS3 just started a 9-ball match with Shooters Pool Pro. What's this 9-ball match? Let's find out what that is. Oh, it's Friday night 9-ball. It's a tournament. But that one's saying event is completed. Oh, there's something weird going on here. There's something very weird going on. That's the one that was... That's saying maximum of 8 players, Friday night 9-ball with 9-ball, 3 open seats, event is completed. What the hell is this all about? LS3 Shooters Pool Pro. Well, so I don't know what's going on. That's got me totally baffled and confused. That is, I've never noticed that at all ever in Virtual Pool 4, and then when you click on it, it takes you to a dead tournament. That's weird. Anyway, Stub 17 racks to 3 the lead, and Tornado Tam with ball in hand. Well, there's a big window between the 9 and 7. And he's going to be too heavy. He's going to be too heavy. Touch like a sledgehammer, Tam. That's how to get yourself in trouble with just 4 balls on the table. Well, he's got the hit. How's his luck? Well, it's given Stub a sight and a cut. Well, we are 12 minutes away from the last match tonight. And Stub is about to be 1 rack away from round 3 in this year's Virtual 9-ball World Championships. Well, that score there is the score that Steve Davis beat John Parrott in 1980 whatever. Or was it 1991 or something like that, 18-3. He beat him with a session to spare in the Snooker World Championships. And Stub, what, 3 balls in the break. And just about to finish the match. And it's been fairly quick. It's just coming up in 1 hour and 5 minutes. But I wouldn't say necessarily a clinical performance. But at the end of the day, he's not really had to be at that level. But he won't be happy with the fact that he might not have added as many runouts as he possibly could. We'll have a quick look at the stats at the end of the match. But Stub comfortably through to round 3, and Tam, well, you know where you're headed. You're headed to the 1-loss side, and plenty of practice you'll get on that side of the tournament. You're still in it, you're not out, but let's just say there's room for improvement for your next match. Right, so we'll have a look at that stat and see what Stub's done. I think he's probably tied with Larry, or he's in the lead, but not by much. It'll be interesting to have a quick look. 9-ball stats. Well, he had 7, so he's got 5. He actually got more than I thought. So Stub's now in the lead, but played 2 matches. Larry is on 9, Cirrus, Mr. Fox, and Marvin. So Larry's next match, he's going to have to get, you know, 4 to tie. 3 to tie, sorry, I can't count. Let's see the break stats. Break money balls made. There's only been, it's tied at the top with 2. Average balls made in the break. Let's see what that looks like. Well, that's going to be some of the players that are already in the one-loss side. But the ones that are still in the winner's side, Bedhead's the one that's got the best percentage there. What else can we look at? Racks high run, I think the leader's still Larry. So that's racks in a row. That's the one that's racks in a row when you're broke. And money balls shot, let's look at that. Mr. Fox has had 35 money balls shot, that's the 9 balls, and 34 made. So he's actually got the best percentage in the tournament. Stubb is second. Strangely enough, Tornado Tam's in third. That can't be right. Mind you, aye, because he's already won a match, hasn't he? This is round 2. Who did Tam play in the first round? Somebody remind me. That was a round 2 match. Anyway. So what's that? There are several 100% if you scroll down. Right, well that's it scrolled up. But they, again, with the money ball made, you look at the player. You have to then filter out the ones that are still in the winner's side, who have got the highest percentage, and out of that, then it'd be Hairpig. And a couple of others. You still in the winner's side, Slim? Because they're at 100%. Anyway, let's see what one of the strong favourites for the tournament can do, because he's about to go at it. Well, presumably, I say presumably. Let's have a look at the lobby and see who's where. I'm just reading the chat. Why is the table custom? That's because of the tournament settings. Aye, Tam hasn't quite grasped that part of it. It's because of the rule settings and stuff like that. And I'm getting blamed as a jinx. Right, can anybody confirm if Fan is in? Because I don't see him. Well, there'll be. I think it's to do with the settings and the rules, or the clock. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I'm just as confused as Tam. I don't see Fan here. This could be a short evening for Cobra. Yep, I don't see him. I'll tell you what I'll do. What time is it? 10 past. I'm going for my backup bottle of water. I'll be back in a second. Oh, has he just arrived? Back in a minute. Right, I'm back. I've got my my water supply replenished. A new 2-litre bottle. Well, there's a result through from the Friday night 9-ball. And we are 4 minutes away. Let's go back to the bracket and just do a bit of a catch up again, and a reminder in case any of you guys want to see some of the matches. You'll have to join the Jose Bill match tomorrow night. I won't be there. I'll be in bed. That'll be a round 2 match at 10 PM British Summer Time, and we have a match at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. That's between Albinario and Bankster. I'll be there for that. That's Albinario's first outing. Again, Albinario a strong contender for this title. And then further down, we've got, I think there's still 1 or 2 matches. I'd say this Reedman King Eric may well not go ahead. You don't see them around very much, I don't think. You've got As You Wish and Danny still to get things sorted. We've got another match tomorrow at 7 PM. So that is an hour before the Albinario match. So again, the same thing. We've got an hour of one match, and then Larry and Potman are going head to head at well, that'll be first, obviously, before the Albinario match. And then further down, we've got the match about to start between Cobra and Wanwa, and Stubb through to round 3. We've got Mark Shark to play Interchange X. I think these are guys both in the States, I think, aren't they? And they start at 1:30 AM tomorrow morning. So good luck to them. The bad news for either of them is they're going to be playing Stubb in round 3. And I think that is everything taken care of. Oh no, that's the ones. Wiley's match is still days ahead for that second round match with Hairpig. And that is us. Super Noob to play Jug Eye Bob. I don't think there's, is there a one-loss side match been set? Yes, there's one set between Mr. Strokum and the Great Guru. And that's 9 PM on April the 4th. I won't be there for that one either. And that is definitely it. So this match that's going to start any second now, in fact the room should be going up. The winner of this match will go through to play VP Monster in round 2. So that is it. Everything up to date. The room is up. There's one player in. It's Cobra. And we're just waiting on Fan arriving. Or Wanwa arriving. Now I could call him Wanwa, or Fan as he says, or just call him the Italian guy. So you guys can tell me what you want me to call him by. $19.70 Cobra. I think that would be a reasonable call. Now, here's the thing. Let's have a look at this rack. Now they'll get the chance to see how these balls are sitting. Looks fairly tight to me. Did we say that Fan had arrived? He's not in a hurry to get in the room. Look at the reflection of those windows on the ball. And you can see the light. The weird thing is that if you look at the lampshade, the light is actually on top of the lampshade. You notice that? The actual point of light. Why did you bloody break the balls, Cobra? I was studying them. Yeah, are we all agreed that Wanwa has arrived? I'm not so sure. Somebody said he'd arrived, so I jumped into the room thinking that was it. How do I bloody hit this tab? I can't see it from my logo. Right. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, get my bloody cue stick away. Right. Well, that one in the top's pretty poor. Just getting to the kitchen line. And Cobra's won it. So, one of the few remaining first round matches when Cobra immediately the 8 ball in the break. Lots to do here to get that the pot in the 1 and get up the table for that 2 ball. Just a wee bit short. Just a wee bit short in the pace. And Cobra sitting at 2,561 in the 9 ball rating. And wanwa 2007. And there you go. Those pockets. You've got to get it right on for it to go in. But here is an excellent chance for Wanwa to steal the first rack. Pot the 2, go over to the left, give yourself a good sight in the 3 and knock that 9 in. Not a lot to ask. That's not bad. So you've just got to look at the line towards the jaw, and if you play towards the jaw, you've got to knock the 9 in. Nothing else can happen. The left jaw is your target. Yeah. And that's probably his best chance in the rack there. It's gone. Now this is where you need to get lucky. Not only cutting the 3, but the hitting the 4 and where it ends up. And it's going to be in play, and I think he's going to have a sight on it. Yes, he does. Albeit it's fairly close. But he can dig into it. He can get enough to dig into the cue ball. But the control and the pace is excellent. Getting back out for that 5. I haven't seen him in the chat for a while there, Popman. He's probably gone AWOL. just off the rail a few millimetres. So first one on the board, albeit it should have been wanwa's. It should have been his with that attempted 3-9 combo, and it's already a chance gone for wanwa to get off the mark immediately. And again, Cobra has had 2 breaks, and he's had 2 breaks with a ball on the break. There he is. He's finally woke up. If you're still there, Pop Man. Well, Cobra's got himself dead straight in the 2. Now, if he just runs through from the 2, he's got to just get the pace, so he's pretty much well on this 3. And he's not got there. He's short by 5-6 inches, but even then, I mean, that 3 does go. But he may well just run for cover here. Now he's gone all out for the cut. And he's got a kiss in the 4. The reason I said go for the safety simply because he couldn't guarantee he was going to get in the 4. And now he's probably going to try and tuck that 4 along behind the 6 or go all out for the pot. And he's gone for it, and a nice little kiss into that 6 would help. He hasn't got it, and it's going to be pretty much up and down the table again. Now, how does he get on the 8 though, is the big question. Because I don't even think getting to here is going to be any good, because I don't think he can make the gap to get the cut in the 8. And now he might run for cover. He might try and run behind the 8 and 9. If he doesn't get it tight, he's leaving wanwa a chance to jump to hit the 6 ball. If he's going where I think he's going, which would be off there, there, and there, like that, or something to that effect. The pace is good, and he's finished up right in the end of the arrow. How does that commentator's eye work so good like that? Absolutely perfect. Now, of course, wanwa can easily get to kick that 6. I mean, he can just come off that end rail. From the angle I'm looking at, he can come off the end rail and get the kick. He's digging out the jump stick. I don't know why. I think it'd have been better just to kick in behind it, because you have a chance of kicking it in. He might still get lucky. Well, it's still okay from the point of view that it's going to be extremely difficult to do anything with this 8 and 9 unless he just bites the bullet and plays the bank in the 8, because that's probably his best opportunity. I wouldn't go overexcited, Stubb. I thought you wouldn't be that pleased at how you played that match. I don't think you played especially well. You gave an awful lot of chances early on. Just unfortunate Tam couldn't take any of them. Well, no prizes for guessing where Fan's going to end up here. I think there's room to push that past. I think he's worried about pushing it to the rail and hitting the 9 with the 8 ball, but I think there's plenty of room for it to go. And that's well, it's tightish, but it may well still be jumpable, if that's a word. Well, you don't necessarily need to use the amp. Depends on your mouse. If you've got a mouse like most guys who've got gaming mice have, they've got different DPI settings. All you do is just hit a button, and you don't need to use the amp button in VP4. Well, wanwa's got the hit, and well, he's left nothing on. Once again though, Cobra can just push that 8 ball to the rail and run the cue ball to the rail in behind the 9. Yeah, a lot of players who've got multi DPI setting mice don't use the amp at all. Well, if you've got a very ordinary non-fancy mouse, like I've got loads of them, I use the amp on the brake because a lot of my mice are at least 10 years old or more. That's a cracking shot by Cobra. That's an excellent shot. I'm calling him to play the safety, but he's went all out and pulled out a cracking cut in 8. And so 2-0 to Cobra. And, well, there's not many signs even this early on that Cobra's going to be making an awful lot of unforced errors. He's looking to keep his standard very high in this tournament. Oh dear, the yawning started again. That's going to hang up. Well, the only lifeline at the moment here for wanwa in this rack is that 4 ball. But that 4 ball goes. Even if you're here, the 4 ball goes. I think you can get the 4 legally. So let's see what Cobra's worked out here. He hasn't finished good in the 3, although he's good from the point of view that he's got an angle. But if he's going to go full-blooded, he's going to try and come across and break them. And he's missed the break. And he can't see enough to pot the 4, but he can see enough to cut the 4 towards the 9. Does he want to risk that? Well, he certainly the 4 ball's going to head down towards the 9 anyway, unless he overcuts it. Now, if he overcuts it, he's sending it that way, which would be the safest place to put it. But to do that, the cue ball's got to go to the rail, come back across and across here. Well, he went all out for it. Now, the shot to play here for Wanwa was to keep the cue ball down where the 9 is. It's not to send the 4 in towards the 9. He might be going full pelt here for a billiard onto the 9 off the 4, in which case he's going to bang the hell out of this. And he tried it, and he could pay the price for that because he should have played the safety. He had the easier safety to play by keeping the cue ball down where the 9 was and sending the 4 up the table. And now he's given what Cobra wants, a free go for 3-0. Well, I don't think Larry's break has changed in 20 years I've been watching him. So, the 6-9 combo for 3-0. And then it goes. So even in these early stages here, it's all about how good a chance is Wanwa going to get, and when is he going to get it, and more importantly, is he going to be able to take it to get off the mark? We've seen how difficult it is. Well, this is completely the wrong side of the 2. The 3's in a very awkward spot. Oh, there's Vince says appeared. Why the hell are you not at this tournament? So welcome to any latecomers. This is a round 2 match in this year's Virtual 9-Ball World Championship. And Cobra was leaving that awkward 3 down the rail as well. But Wanwa was going to have a chance here, albeit not an easy one. Not easy at all from where he's sitting. And once again with this shot, you can't push this towards the rail too soon. That'll easily catch the knuckle. I just got to brush it past there, and he's pushed it away. And it's come back into play. And so it's not that much of a lifeline because the 5 does go as well, but it's again slightly awkward, the 5 ball. With that 8 ball just hindering it slightly. But at the moment it's Wanwa's only lifeline in this rack. Well, that hasn't worked out because I believe Cobra was playing to get into the table to play the 5 past the 8 there. And now he can lock Fan up or Wanwa up onto the 8, or he can go all out for the cut. It It looks as if he's lining up the cut. Was there ever a doubt? I can't see, other than he has to make sure he just comes out into the table far enough. If he overhits it, he plays it long into the corner pocket. If he gets it right, he just drops it into the middle. And like I said, he's got it right. He can just roll it straight in for 4-0. Well, at the moment, Wanwa hasn't been in control of the table at all. And Cobra breaking, getting balls. How many is that in the break? There's 4 in the break. The 4 ball, the 6, the 7, the 8. And unfortunately for him though, no shot in the 1 other than, again, another long ambitious combo in the 3. And he's playing it pocket weight, and that is perfect. That is excellent. And absolutely nothing that you can do other than sit and watch. That was not an easy combo, but he gave it every chance with the pocket weight. But this will certainly tally up the rack's run. And Cobra, let's just look where he's breaking from. He's breaking from where the cue ball appears. He's not moving it. He's not moving the cue ball 1 inch. He's just breaking from where it reappears at the start of the rack. And he's getting a ball in the break every time at the moment. And what's more, the 1 ball's gone and he's on the 2. Do you reckon so, Whit? Well, let's see what happens. Could be a tactical one, not necessarily a dodgy one. That's a good shot as well. A well-controlled cut. Draw across off the side rail. And relying pretty good in the 3. Well, this rack's all over, isn't it? Where's he going to make a mistake here? And if only half of these guys, well, more than half of these guys, if only more of these guys were watching to see what thinking does for you when you're playing this game. When actually going through a thought process when you're thinking about what you're doing with the cue ball and getting to that next ball, making your life so easy. Make way for the Spaniard if he comes into the room. Mind you, he'll have to self-isolate in the corner. Well, just a draw up the table or a run through and then into the table. The choice is his. And it's another rack run. Well, he's got 2 targets, getting to the top of the racks run in total. And he's also trying to get to the top of the high racks run. The racks run in a row, that's definitely 2. From the break, that is. Same thing again, the ball just appears and he's breaking. Has his luck changed? And he's dry this time. But Wanwa has got the ones in the same position, or where the 2 ball was in the last rack, on the side rail there. So Wanwa has his chance. But again, the control and the touch to get on that 2 wasn't there, and so immediately the chance is gone. Unless he's trying to do something fancy. He's trying to billiard the 5 in. He's going to have to bank the 2. And, well, if he's going full-blooded, he's going to have to run the cue ball and avoid obstacles on the way. Well, I'll keep saying this to him blue in the face. That is right enough what you've said, Mr. Nomad Wit. But it's all about having control of your mouse. It's not about just having control of the cue ball. In order to have good control of the cue ball, you have to get good control of your mouse. And that has to start by adjusting the sensitivity through practice. And there's not a lot of people put enough time into that side of it. If they did that, they'd be a 50% better player straight away, and it would give them more confidence in playing certain shots and having a better feel for a shot if their mouse was set better. It's just wiped its feet and went in. Could this be Wanwa's first rack in the board? He's not going to be hooked, but he's going to be a fair distance from this 7 ball unless he puts power into this. And he's got as close as he possibly could. And again, if he doesn't come back far enough, he's going to be running this cue ball. He has to be brave enough to come back off that 7 and leave this 8 as straight as he can, so he's got better control to get to the 9. If he starts leaving angles, he could end up all over the place. Now, if he runs this there, there and there, and needs to get out into the table, that's not bad. This will definitely be his first rack unless he falls apart here in this shot. And he's off the mark at last, and now he has the break. Now, has he been watching Cobra breaking from exactly where the cue ball's sitting? And he has been watching, so he's given it a go. He's got a ball in the break. He's got a 1-8 combo to start. The 2 ball has gone. The 3 ball's over the top corner, so this is just pocket weight for the 1. 3 ball over the top corner, and then he has to come down the table for the 4 that's right in the middle of the table. So this is a rack that if you're going to make any statement, you're going to break and run it. and if you don't, it's a major failure. So this is the important one. Coming over that right hand side far enough to get that 4 ball past the 9. And again, he's trying to come down to an area that is neither here nor there. So now he's out of control here. He's out of shape, and he's trying a recovery shot. And if he gets there, that is not a bad recovery. But that wasn't the way to get there. But he won't be bothered about that, as long as he can come back. How does that look from there? That's not bad. That's exactly where you want to be. Just a little punch to get that spin working. And now he's got a nice angle to come up the table and get top side of that 7 is where you want to be. Hopefully into one of the middle pockets. So he's got to punch this in. You don't want to be leaving a pot from this end of the table. You want to try and get up there. Well, he's leaving it long. And now, well, I know what I'd be doing with this shot. I'd be going forward, if I can get my line to what that is. I'd be going forward with a wee bit of inside just to make sure I come down to the middle pocket. You don't want to go to the rail too soon. And he's almost on the point. That's not bad. And so it's 2 in a row for wanwa. Now that he's got control with the break, and he's still breaking from Cobra's position. Can he get a ball and a shot? 8 ball goes in, but he doesn't have a shot, but he's got a chance. Well, he's got a cut, I think, if he wants to be brave enough for it. But he can do the other thing and just push that 1 ball past the 4 and bury Cobra behind the 4 and 8, 4 and 7. That would be the sensible thing to do. You see, he's getting excited there and carried away and going all out for it, when he could have just put Cobra in trouble. Fair enough, Cobra's snookered, but it's an easy kick, and it's also not a difficult kick off the rail to catch that one and knock it in. And he's going to have to do it pocket weight if he wants to keep the cue ball there or thereabouts to still have a shot in the 2, and he actually did that. He would have been able to pot the 2. I am a great C broadcaster. I'm a tactical genius, I know that. I don't know about broadcaster. I'm a self-appointed tactical genius. Well, not a bad safety. Got Cobra in trouble. And then, of course, with this jump shot, the cue ball won't have a lot of pace by the time it gets to the 1. And is he going to be able to go over that 2 anyway? Because he's very tight to it. He's not got much room to work with. He's got the jump, he's got the hit, but you see the problem with the pace there, he got the double kiss in the 1. And it's given wanwa a chance. The obvious problem is not necessarily just getting onto the 2, but the 4 and the 7 are sort of dead in the water the way they're sitting. The 6 ball's a blocker for the 4 ball up the table. That is scratching. And now Cobra with ball in hand. it would be a bit risky to play the 2 and break the 7 and 4 here, because that would probably ruin his chances to go on the 3. The 4 won't go, but if he plays the breakout, he's taking a risk. See, he's played the little nudge, and that has actually worked out perfect, because now he's got the slight angle in the 3. He can run the 3 in and get that cue ball. I don't know whether he wants to hammer this and slam it. I mean, if he was to pot that and slam it, he could get the cue ball out, but he can still get the cue ball out by running it and avoiding traffic. And he's avoided the 6, and he's over to the right hand side. So that was the 2 ways he could have done that, but the first way would have been a really big hammer stun shot with the risk of the ball rattling in the pocket. Yeah, Spectre Dawn's a solid player as well. He's got a fair shout and a fair chance at winning this. But Cobra looking to re-establish his lead. He's still got a 4-rack lead. That little 2-rack burst there by Wanwa is looking to be diminished, and we'll see how long Cobra sticks with that break. It's been working for him fairly well so far. So 7-2, and again same position, the cue ball just appears and that's where you break from. And he's getting the 6 ball in the break, and he's going to have a shot in the 1. Now, is he going to go really gentle, or is he going to go across the table, because the 2 is obviously in the same rail? But the worry would be that he plays it too gentle and hooks himself behind the 5. Or if he plays it a wee bit more, he can get out past the 5 like that, and then just roll the 2 down the table, and he should be out. Again, there's no problem. The handy thing is having the 8 ball down where the 9 is, because it means again you don't have to manoeuvre the cue ball too far. Good evening to Brett Houghton, or Youghton, or Yolton. Is it Yolton? Well, it must be breakfast time in Australia. It must be about 8 o'clock in the morning, or just coming up to that. Because we are just about 5 minutes to 9 British summer time, and it's coming up to your winter time. Well, it'll be officially autumn there at the moment, or fall. Yolton. Well, potentially this is the one that can go wrong, but there's a big margin of error. Plenty of room to get to the 8 ball. Well, he's going to leave himself too high here, and that's where it's gone wrong. So he's going to have to run this all around the table. There's no way he's holding for this 8. He might run into the 9, as a matter of fact. Yeah, he's run into it and he's done the right thing, and he's pushed it up the table into play. And well, it wasn't straightforward, but he got there. Now, if you're only at 5 to 7, then I'm imagining you're in Western Australia. Is that right? Because the further east you are, the further away you are in time zones. So I'm imagining you're on the western side. Of course, I could be totally wrong. But anyway, Cobra breaking again and getting a ball in the break again. And also getting on a shot. Well, Sydney's the eastern side, though, isn't it? I mean, you might be that far round the world that you're coming round the other side. So it must be the further west you go then, the further away you are in time zones. Because there must be some part of Australia that's at least 11 hours ahead of us. Or is that New Zealand? Yeah, I thought that, yeah. Has he gone free to get to that 3 ball? Yes, he has. And this is how it's going to be really tough. And there's a mistake. One of very few by Cobra, but these type of errors, few as they may be, you've got to take them. You can't waste them. So you have to take your time and make the most of them, because you won't get many. And this is, you know, when you play to the level that Cobra plays at regularly, you're getting to the pro standard. If you want to make an equivalent to it in real life, because these guys in real life, when they get to the table, they don't miss many. And you have to be playing at that level regularly, match after match, if you're going to win tournaments like this. And whoever bumps into Cobra is going to have to match that standard. And chances like this that wanwa's got have simply got to go to stay in the match. Well, this is not a difficult shot. It's just a soft draw off the 7 to hold for the 8. You don't want to be running this forward or anything like that. It looks as if he's trying to run it forward to take the 8 into the middle. I'm not so keen in that shot. I'm more keen in the simple shot and drawing off the 7. See, that's a big risk. That's not the right shot to play, in my opinion. He had to just play the little draw off that 7 to get on to the 8. Big risk taking that. And now this cue ball has to run. Well, he's got there one way or another, which at the end of the day is all that matters. But he could have done it under better control. And the most important thing out of the whole of that there was the fact that wanwa came to the table and ran out from Cobra's error. That was the most important thing of the whole lot of it. They actually achieved it. How he did it didn't really matter, but doing it is what mattered. It just sends a signal to let Cobra know that you're going to hold your nerve and do it. Right, Mark, it is getting to your bedtime. It's just past mine, so take care. And I'll see you some other time. Thanks for watching. Well, just a straightforward little roll through, just far enough. You need to go far enough just to draw it in. Well, you're certainly not up at 4:30. I am, though. You can fall out your bed at any time. Yeah, that's where I'm going. As soon as this is over, I'm over and out, folks. You're up at 4:30 to take the lad to work. I'll believe that when you give me photographic evidence, video evidence. If that was me, I would give him the bloody car keys and send him on his way. I would have thought a big place like Leicester would have buses running at night time. No, I'm straight to bed. Well, with all this water I'm drinking, I'll pay a visit to the little boy's room first, but oh, they've got buses at night in Glasgow. I would have thought Leicester would have been big enough to have nighttime buses take all the drunks home once the pubs open again. Well, Cobra maintaining his lead. The lead is 5. It's now gone to 6. I see the only problem I've got at this time of night, especially when you know, when I do Friday night 9-ball or anything like this to this hour for me, when I go to bed my head's buzzing. My head will buzz for an hour before I can actually drop off, because I'm thinking about shots that I've watched in the match. There's nothing better at night. You don't need sleeping pills, Pop Man. You know what you need? Get yourself a nice cool can of what do you call it? Draft Guinness. Have one of them. You'll sleep like a log. I swear by it. Or better still, have 2 of them. You will sleep like a log. Best sleeping pill you can get. Well, that's where you don't get carried away. And just a good can of Guinness, nice and chilled. That just settles you down nicely. Or maybe the odd little vodka and coke or something like that. That's how, when I used to go to the pub, that's what I always started with. I started off in the vodka and cokes, and then I moved on to the Guinness. Once I'd warmed up, I moved on to the Guinness for the rest of the night. But I don't even do that anymore. My God, I can't even remember the last time I was in a pub. Well, when I drank Guinness, there was nothing left in the pint glass for very long. Oh, well, there was the attempted combo, and it failed with a scratch by wanwa. And of course, it's the open invitation for Cobra with ball in hand to get to double figures. Well, that's sound advice coming from Stubbs, considering he's on weed half the time. Because that makes you bloody paranoid. It's when you're mixing sleeping pills with weed. That gives you all sorts of paranoia effects. Well, that's going to be a bit of no man's land for Cobra. He's got to let this run plain ball, just so he pots the 8 and it just goes off the end rail and around the corner. Pretty much like that. Well, see, I'm of the opinion if you need sleeping pills to get to sleep, then there's something wrong with your setup. I mean, even if it's the way you're lying in the bed. I mean, I had a period of time there where I was finding it difficult to get to sleep, and I just changed the way I was lying in bed, and then now I sleep like a log. I sleep on my left-hand side. And I think for a period of time I was sleeping on my right hand side and then my back, and I was getting disturbed all night. But now I'm on my left hand side, I've got no problem, I drop off no problem. But not with the aid of any substances of any description. Oh, one, we're playing the deliberate foul, trying to lock up the cue ball, the 1 ball, but Cobra can easily bury him here and have him on 2 fouls. But I think Cobra's made his mind up, he's going all out for it again with ball in hand. Well, that's 1 bottle finished. The reserve one is still sitting there to be opened. I've told that stuff for years. You know, if he moved the ball better, more consistently, you know, the potting side of things he doesn't have to worry about. But if he could get that cue ball under better control, when it gets tight in tight situations, then yeah, he could reach the level that Cobra's got to. And that's the thing he's always had to work on, and he's never bothered. I mean, you see Stubb going for all of these really difficult pots to keep a visit going at the table, when not very often Cobra has to, because he's getting the cue ball there or thereabouts most of the time, and that's the big difference. Now, having said that, he's gone again into that twilight zone, as I call it. Well, there's another name I've not seen before. Die Hard Trucker. Welcome anyway. But he's recovered and he's in good shape now on the 7. It should be home and dry in this rack. So this match started at 8:15. We are 56 minutes into the match, and Cobra is going to be leading by 11 racks to 3. And from all I can remember, he's made one unforced error that I can remember. I think that was that 3 ball. The sort of real unforced error. Oh, good evening, Albie. I never noticed you there as well. I'll have you. When's your match? Is it tomorrow night? I think I mentioned that earlier on. I've forgotten already though. I think it's tomorrow night. I'll be there for that one. Provided it goes ahead, that is. Well, there's the other mistake. Although it wasn't easy because he was having to force it around to get the cue ball up towards the 3. But, and I say but, Wanwa comes to the table and he can pot the 2 no problem. The biggest problem here is avoiding hitting something else trying to get to this 3, and that's going to be a tall order. And he's a right pop at that one, knocked it out the pocket and got away with it. Where are all these strange names coming from? Is that Wink at Me with at me wink? I mean, you're never going to be in disguise on YouTube with a name like that, for goodness sake. I wonder who that is. Good evening. Yeah, well, they can play it in 4 hours time, Stub. I'll be in Cloud Cuckoo Land at that time. Where did you get? Oh, 9 your time, that's right, 8 o'clock. Yeah. Once again, Wanwa not getting it safe, and this is an easy opening. Or is it? What is that? I thought that was a 4 ball. 4 balls there in front of the 2 ball. No, he has got it safe. My eyes are going. What's he trying to do? Catch the edge of this too? He is. Looking to get a bit of luck. And he has done. So Larry and Potman tomorrow night at 7. And tomorrow night at 8 we've got Albinario and Bankster. Tomorrow night at 10 we have Jose and Bill. And what's the one that's at... There's one at 1:30 AM. That's the one that Stubbs talking about. The one with Mark Shark and Interchange X. That's the next one. But as I say, good luck to them. I won't be there. And Swiley in a week's time or more. Meanwhile, no, I was just checking to see who it was. I forgot who was playing at 1:30 in the morning. It's the 2 Americans that are playing, or one of them's Canadian, I don't know. Enough of the 2 exposed for Cobra. 3 at the top end. Somebody mute that semi-pro. Now, is he the wrong side, or? Well, again, he's just going to have to get the cue ball out at least past the 6. That's all he needs to do. But if he wants to get really better on the 5, he wants to get closer to the left hand side. Now is he going to try and run around with this? Because that's one option. If he tries drawing across, he might end up running into the 8 and 7. Well, that's not bad. But again, he's going to have a wee bit of work to do here. He's looking to see how that 7 looks towards the 9 ball, because the 7 doesn't pass the 8. Now, if he runs up the left hand side, I don't know whether he can find a line up that way to come down here and try and get the 7 into the middle. He's looking to do that. He's found a line. Is he going to get there? He's just short. He had that idea. But if you can see, the angle in that is not easy. This is not a very inviting shot. Looks easy from this angle, but not when you're playing it from there. And he's got the same problem again from the opposite side. Again, an awkward cut. Well, why not send that as a suggestion to support? Vince says you can let us know when you get a reply. And that was a good out from Cobra. And Cobra now stretches the lead to 9 racks. It's 12-3. Well, the alarm bells are ringing. Look at that 9 ball. And Cobra, with a dry break, can obviously play the push out by potting the 9. Now is he looking at trying to, how would he get this cue ball anywhere near that 9? Is he going all out for the pot or the bank with this 2? The 1 ball I should say. Why do I say the 2? Oh, that was 1, but it was at the table. I'm too busy reading the bloody chat. I'm missing who's actually playing the shot. Well, anyway, Cobra's definitely the table now. He could cross bank the 1, which is risky, going that way. If he wanted to be really, really desperate to play a 9 ball, but he's got the 3 ball down the rail on the 9. Well, that's a run out, and that goes on to Cobra's tally for the tournament so far. Has that skinny German kid ever come back to VP? Who are we talking about? Good evening, Mooncake. Who's the skinny German kid? Well, that was another dry break from Cobra. One at the table, trying to squeeze the one in the gap. He's managed that. It's going to be a long 3-ball to follow this too. And the problem with it being a long 3-ball is being able to get, especially now that he's left it right on the rail. I think he was dead straight anyway. But he's got to judge the pace from a big distance to get it across the table and back into the table for the 4-ball. And he's done neither. He's not gone with enough pace, or he's hit it too heavy, however you want to look at it. Well, we've not seen Sharky 9 for a long time. In fact, I don't recall Sharky 9 ever being in Virtual Pool 4. Well, one was going all out for the cut, which probably wasn't really on, and he's immediately left the 4 on for Cobra, although he's dead straight. He can try and pinch an angle and run through. He's going for the draw to try and get high enough up to at least see the 5. I think he's got there. Yep. Well, this has been a long day. I think I had what did I have? Like maybe a 15-minute interval between sessions, but we've been on since 4 o'clock this afternoon, I think that is. And we're now at 25 minutes past 9 British summer time. Especially when I've been up since 4:30 this morning. And that's gone. Again, a little awkward, that run into the 9. Left him the bedhead cut. It's not somebody like Patrick or Concentrator or Coconut, Mr. Coconut you're talking about. He's had umpteen different names. But he doesn't come to Virtual Pool 4 anymore. And I don't know whether I don't think he's German. But he's got a YouTube channel. He's slightly insane. You can go to his YouTube channel, 1000-Year-Old Man, and you'll see that guy needs some serious psychiatric help. He's on a different planet from the rest of us. And Cobra puts another 9 away. And it's now way beyond the reach of wanwa. His goal is to get to 5 racks for the match. If he can get to 5, that'll be an achievement. But if Cobra keeps breaking like that and getting a shot in the 1-ball and everything else on, he's not going to get many opportunities. Yeah, he's not been around for a long time. I think he was here maybe the first week or 2 when VP4 launched, but he's never been back since. Well, he didn't want the hit in the 9 because that spoiled his shape in the 2 and ruined what was looking like an obvious run out. He's still got the cut on the 2, which looks like he's lining up past the 5, and he's overcut it. Very difficult in a blind pocket cut like that. And one was missed his chance there, but he's got the second prize. And Cobra, does he think he can get the gap? I think he can. Just enough room. And Cobra now should find his way home in this rack. So the only thing we really have to do once this match is over is just have a look at the stats and see where Cobra has got himself on the table. Now remember that there is no prize in offer like there was in the straight pool tournament for the longest run or anything like that, but there is a prize for whoever finishes with the most racks run in this event, and whoever finishes top will get 1,000 V dollars added to their account. And that will be from our sponsors VP4 TV, i.e. me. Yeah, if you saw 1,000-year-old man's videos, the guy is nuts. I swear. I mean, I've been saying he's been crazy for years. I was saying he was nuts in VP3s. He's even more crazy now. He is on a different time zone and a different planet. Well, look at the 9-ball. Just waiting to be nudged in. Just a pity there's nothing very adjacent to it. But it's Cobra with the balls in the break again. And once again should be out. Well, I think he's probably made enough to be certainly second place on his own on this leaderboard when we look at it. Whether or not he will topple Larry off the top, I don't know. It might be close. We've still got a few racks to go, possibly. Well, certainly at least 3 after this one. It's just going to be down to whether Cobra can get that ball in the break and keep it going. Well, in VP3 he was concentrator for a long period of time. But he certainly wasn't Mr. Coconut on VP3, he was concentrator. So, Cobra is just marching on. And this has been a good warm-up for him, because he's made very few errors. He's made a couple worth mentioning, but that's about it. He's been very solid and very consistent, as he generally is always. So the cue ball this time though has got loose and he's scratched, and it's a chance for wanwa to get to his almost get to his next goal, which is to get to 5, and he's got ball in hand, and the problem in order to actually run this rack is that situation there with the 4 ball. It doesn't go and it's not set as a combo, and it's a tall order to get a decent position on it to be able to make that combo, because that 4 ball has got to be cut seriously that way to catch the 5 to go that way. I think that's unlikely. But one was taking his time. I mean, these first 3 balls aren't a problem, but the third ball, the actual 3 ball, is the one that could allow him to get the cue ball up the table and nudge something up in that corner. So it all depends on whether he has any half decent angle that would allow him to do it. Well, I don't know whether that's good enough shape to be able to try and play the billiard onto the 5. Yeah, I wasn't. I needed a lot more convincing that was on from that position. But as I say, if he'd got better on that 3 ball, he could have maybe let the cue ball run into them and get a bit of luck that way. But Cobra plays the draw shot, punches the 4 up the table, and let's have a look and see how close that is. Yeah, he's not jumping that, and Wanwa is in a whole heap of trouble. Yeah, the push through looked more on than actually trying to play the billiard. You know, because it was too tight, it was too narrow an angle to be, he didn't have enough room to do that shot. Well, he's digging the jump stick out, he thinks he can get over it. And I didn't think he could. And so Cobra with a free go. And I suppose if there's going to be an issue, the issue just to get across from that 6 to the 8. Well, as long as he has the angle, he doesn't want to finish straight on this 6. He really wants to be in the middle of the table if he can get there, and just leave the cut in the 6 so the cue ball's coming across, and that will do. So, unless he does something dramatic, this cue ball is going over to the top side of the 8 to take it down the rail, and he is coming across. And this is where he has to get the half decent angle to punch it off the rail from this side. If he went from the other side, he still had to leave the angle from the top side, but he would have been cutting it down the rail and the cue ball going that way. This way he's coming that way. And he's still got there. That's excellent. So Cobra is going to let me get to bed in the not too distant future. Just 2 away. And again, breaking from... Now there's something that people watching this might be able to go by. Just breaking from where the cue balls appear and not moving it. And the consistency of that is giving Cobra balls in the break on a regular basis. Not all the time. He's come up with a couple of dry ones, but he's had a fair few where he's getting a ball on the break, and it might be worth bearing that in mind if you're in this tournament and you've still got a match to play. And Wanwa has scratched. Now what's Cobra got on here? Let's be honest, not a heck of a lot. I mean, he could draw into the 6 and off the 1. He could punch the 1 up the table, which is the easiest one, and bury Wanwa like this. Now that is not that difficult to hit, because if you get a bit of action in the cue ball, a bit of spin this way, off the rail, you can kick it into it. Well, I don't know what he had in mind there. I think he was trying to lock something up. I don't know whether he's achieved that to a great deal. Let's have a look. Come out of that thing. Hang on a minute, that's better. Well, the 4 ball certainly is no good where it is. Well, if you haven't seen the match from the start, Cobra's just been... he's been playing at the level required if you're going to go on to win this tournament. And that is very solid. As I say, Albie, I hope you're paying attention to the break, because his break has been pretty successful all night. And all he's been doing is breaking from where the cue ball's appearing. And it's worked pretty well for him. Well, that's tight if it's to go past the 7 from there. When you look at it from there, it looks okay, but there's actually not much room at all. With Cobra looking to hide that cue ball, he hasn't achieved that. Well, I think Cobra now might take the risk and a bit of luck here and run the 6 in. Yeah, and that's worked out nice. That has worked out pretty good, apart from the fact he's straight in the blue on the 2. He might just run through and try and get on the 4 and play the combo. That'd be the simplest thing to do. Let's see what he does with the cue ball. I think that's what he might try. Because, I mean, there's not a heck of a lot you can do. He can pinch an angle and punch it up between the 8 and 7. If he can go that way slightly. But he needs to keep going to get on the 4. And now he's jacked up. Gone for the draw. Well, he's finding the gap between the 5 and the 8. But it's a blind pocket cut. Yeah, not easy. Yeah, I would just hit it centre ball from where the cue ball appears. I wouldn't be putting top on it. I would just hit it centre ball, or if anything, half a cue tip below the equator. I mean, if you watch Larry's break, in all the years he's played VP3 and VP4, when Larry breaks, the cue ball hits the pack, and generally, if he gets it right, the cue ball's coming back up the table, away from the pack. That's usually how he breaks. Where's this cue ball ending up, Cobra? I think he's in trouble. It might be a bit of a glimmer of a light here for Wanwa if Cobra can't jump out of this and pot the 7. There still might be a chance for Wanwa to get to 5. Slim though it is. And it might have gone with that shot there. An excellent jump again. And the cue ball finding pretty decent position on the 8. And this has to be stunned in just to get the cue ball over to the right for the 9 into the same pocket. Is he running it through to avoid the 9? Yeah, he's running it through, but he's running into the 9. And that's worked out okay. I thought he was trying to run behind it, but it's worked out perfect. So, here we go. Let's have a look at where he's putting the cue tip. Well, he's just hitting the centre ball. Or is that just above the equator? But you see that the bounce come off the pack with that shot and sent the cue ball back down the table, and again he got a ball in the break, and he's got a shot in the 1. So on the break the 3 ball has gone. Shot in the 1, wrong side of the 1 though, so again he's going to have to move the cue ball. And let's have a look at everything else is on. The 5 goes past the 7, the 7 goes past the 8, the 6 is over the middle pocket if you're on this side of it, there's not a problem. And the only problem is that Cobra's found a way to get himself behind the 9. And again a cracking bank shot, played perfect. The jump bank on the 2, he's going to have to play another good one on the 4 to stay at the table. Well, you certainly cannot say that Wanwa has fallen apart because he's not had a chance to do so. He has had very little and very little to go by. Right, good night. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time, which won't be that far away. It'll be sometime tomorrow night. Well, it's another awkward pot, but the cue ball will be going in the right direction to get onto this 6, which is not a problem in potting it. Now he can just drop this in. I don't imagine he would want to do anything else other than drop it through for that 7 into the opposite corner. Then again, the more you look at the angle that he has here, he would have to just get that in off the far jaw and just drop through. It looks to be on to play that shot. Well, he's tried to go forward and come around and it's gone wrong. He's now hooked behind the 9 and the 8 is blocking the path for the 7. So, a glimmer of hope, albeit very, very dim for Wanwa to pinch a rack here. Well, Cobra lining up for the long jump, so he's going to have to jack the cue up, but jack it at a lower angle. And instead of going this height, and he's got the hit, and how's his luck? Well, that's not bad at all, is it? The bank is on for Wanwa if he wants to have a go at it. He can play the thin cut, but I think it's far easier playing the bank. This could be his last shot, but I think that might go in, and it has done, but it hasn't finished very favourable on the 8. But it's a good cut. Now, is it going to run into play again? Well, do everything but scratch the middle pocket if you're going to punch this in. This to get to 4. And in it goes. And now Wanwa has the break. Is he going to get lucky? Well, that top spin he had on it has killed the cue ball middle of the table, but he's had no luck at all. And I think if this 1 ball, well, it doesn't pass. And we've also got the 6 and the 9 tied up, so nobody's running this rack right now. But it's just the 1 that Cobra needs. Oh, well, that's worked out nice. I'm assuming he played the combo, but the combo didn't work, but the one has gone in. Oh, really tired. Really tired now. Well, if it hadn't kissed that 5, it would have been ideal to probably run into that 6 and 9 and open them. There's no guarantee we'll be getting anywhere near the 4, but he's got to find a way to open them. He's managed that and then hoping to get lucky. And he might be able... I think he can get enough of the 4. I think he can see enough of it to pot it. I don't know that he is playing the pot. Ah, he is. He didn't quite have the line. But is wanwa going to get? Is he going to get to 5? That's the question, because that's the goal I've set him, to get to 5. And I think earlier on Semi had predicted 19.9 or something like that. But if he can get to 5, that'll be an achievement. Well, there's no reason he shouldn't, because this is straightforward enough. Run the 5 in, get the cue ball over to the left, but not too far. Looks as if he's drawn off this. And that's going to end up awkward for what he's done there. That is not very well controlled. There was a much easier way to play that than this. Or was it 19.7? Well, he certainly, as long as he drops in behind the 8, which shouldn't be a problem, then he could very well get to the 5 that I set him. Is that you away as well? Wink at me. Good night then. I'm not on holiday, I'm working all weekend. That's going to hold up, I think. Yep. So, one was going to get to 5, barring a scratch off this 9 ball. Now, can he get a ball and a shot this time though? He's got a ball, and if that cue ball holds up, he's got a shot. He's got the pot in the 1. We've lost the, what was it? We lost the 4 ball in the break. Well, that's not ideal, but it does go. And he shouldn't have any problem getting in the 3. Again, just too heavy though. Everything's just been played at too far a distance to have good control. And he's overcut that. He didn't really play that with a lot of confidence. You've just got to go for them 100%. You know, you're going to lose the match anyway, so you might as well go through with the shot. He just sort of chickened out in the end with that one. And this should be it for Cobra. It should be all over. Right, so spin across to the top side of the 7. And that's perfect. because that's where you want to be, so that you're just naturally going down onto the 8. It's an obvious thing, but you'd be amazed the amount of players don't even think about that. So Cobra completing the formalities. It's been a strong performance and way too good for most players in this tournament. But has he got himself right up that leaderboard on the racks run? We're going to find out. Cobra wins by 19 racks to 5, and we'll have a look at the bracket. Wanwa, of course, moves over to the one loss side. We'll have that look at, not the bracket, the stats before we go, and we'll see what impact Cobra has made. And Cobra has just got 5. Now even though Cobra was playing very solidly, that shows you how well Larry played to get 9. And so Cobra's on the board, but he's 4 behind Larry, and remember Stubbs played 2 matches now, so Cobra's still in with a chance, but Larry, once he's played his next match, should go back into the lead. So that's the top 10, and Mr. Fox has played 2 matches as well, so Wink at Me's there in 4, he's still got a chance. But he's going to have to, and he's going to have the best chance of all, because he's in the one loss side, I think, if I'm right in saying. And McClarkey and Jose are down there, so, and Popman's just outside the top 10 now, I think. So that's it, guys. It's been a pleasure, and it's been tiring. It's been a long day for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your company. We'll have matches tomorrow night. I hope you can join us. If you can't, remember, just go to YouTube, they'll be on there. You can catch up with them at a later date when time permits. So I will bid you good night, and we'll see you again soon.